So I've made a few Northwind moderator abuse videos, but 5 months ago I had a talk with the head admin, as well as a direct message from the owner of Northwind himself. So in the interest of getting back to making normal videos sometime in the next century, I'm not gonna fully respond to every single point in like the hour-long conversation, but starting off with the admin, he explains the last message in our series, which if you haven't seen the whole series, I'd recommend going and watching the other ones just to catch up, was actually also from a moderator, and that unlike the other two moderators, this guy is finally an actual moderator. He also says that a part in the previous video where I stated that a house in compliance with all other rules about respawning could not be illegal because of another clause that didn't add anything but simply stated that houses with additional party beds were included in the regulation I had already reviewed earlier. At best he was just listening and didn't read the text on screen of the rulebook showing this. That's my guess. Next he mentioned that he talked with the moderator that hadn't even read the rules, and that they investigated a number of clips provided by the moderator in question, and the clip showed him doing the job correctly. Now, if he didn't read the rules, I'm not so sure that doing the job correctly is the correct term, but I mean, what was he really expecting? Like, was he expecting the mod to send him video of him not doing his job correctly? However, the head admin admits that the response video enlightened him. The moderator did do some wrong and was then warned. Here's the thing though, I don't want to like too hard on this one moderator. My question is not just about this one moderator. The question is how many moderators like this guy also haven't read the rules that just didn't prey on the one wolf hiding in the field of sheep? That's my question. He also adds that if there is a moderator acting hostile, you can report him to somebody of a higher level through some area in Discord. However, with as minimal doubt as possible towards the Northwind administration team, given our experience with them so far, going public with full-size video arguments has proved a far more effective strategy for not only challenging the judgments of moderation, but also being a genuine force for improvement. So I really don't regret going public at all, especially with some of the stuff later in this video that I found out. He also explains that the rules being located on an unpermitted fourth-party platform according to the Roblox rules was going to be fixed, and now 5 months later after this exchange, to my knowledge, what I can see, they have been moved on to Discord. They've also shortened them dramatically. Some of the stuff he says also implies that moderators don't actually judge houses on whether or not they've actually been used in any way that violates the rules, including rules that are only violatable by certain uses of the house, but instead they're judged based on whether or not the house looks like it could be used for that purpose. Some of the stuff the guy said later in the video showed him also judging stuff based on what people did with the house, so I'm not quite sure what he means there either. Then moving on to the respawn anchor topic, which that was like so given how important these rules are to this part of the video, I'm gonna read you the old Northwind housing rules regarding respawn houses, because apparently they don't even watch the video, they just listen. So just to make sure they don't miss it, I'll be reading it. So I'm just gonna read the thing out loud so that they don't miss it. Respawn houses and the like are not permitted as they are built with the sole purpose of being used as a respawn anchor. Now, sole purpose means the only purpose. So, the sole purpose of being used as a respawn anchor, that means if your house is used for anything else, storing things, mining, whatever else you use your house for, then the sole purpose is no longer being used as a respawn anchor. Whether or not they are a 1x1 or a 1x2 type of home, this includes larger homes used for factions for respawns. So it basically says, even if you have a big house, it can still be considered a respawn house, and it also says that faction homes are not immune to being considered a respawn house. It doesn't actually say anything, so it doesn't actually say anything unique to the faction homes. It just says that a home used by factions for respawns is not immune to the previous rules, which, if the faction is using it for anything else than a respawn anchor, it kind of breaks down anyways. Here's the thing, they don't even define respawn anchor, so they don't tell you what it means. So in order to tell you what a respawn house is, they tell you that a respawn house is something that's used as a respawn anchor. but they don't tell you what a respawn anchor is, which I'm assuming they're two different things, because you wouldn't, like, if someone asked you what a tent was, you wouldn't respond, oh, a tent is a tent. You would respond, a tent's like a large thing with fabric to keep rain out. So I'm assuming those are two different words, but they don't tell you what the rules are, so they build this entire rule on whatever a respawn anchor is, and then they don't tell you what a respawn anchor is. I have a feeling they meant for people to intuitively know this, so we're gonna break the word down. If we assume that anchor means something that's not moved, so that means it's not something that moves around all the time, like a horse or something, and it's a respawn, something that you can use to respawn, that means anything that doesn't move that you can respawn at. So in other words, not only would any house be considered a respawn anchor, so would the bedrolls that you can buy for like 20 pounds, I think it was? I don't know. The developers put in bedrolls in the game, where you can buy them, you can place them down, and then you can respawn there as many times as you want, with the cooldown, obviously. Like, they don't define what it is, so that's my guess at what a respawn anchor is, but they make a whole rule on it, and then they don't even tell you what they're making the rule on. So, it also says any home which shows little to no effort, which again, they don't define little to no effort, like if you have an entire house filled with things, is that no effort? Nor any purpose in it, location, other than being used as a respawn anchor is strictly prohibited. So again, they don't even tell you what a respawn anchor is, but they tell you that if your house is positioned to be a respawn anchor, which again, if it's right next to a mine entrance, that can't be the only purpose. It still makes no sense because they don't tell you what a respawn anchor is. And it also says that respawn houses can be determined by moderator discretion. Like, their entire claim to authority here was just, well, we're the admins, we can do what we want. And they don't even tell you what a respawn anchor is before they ban you for it. So, yeah, that's just me reading the rules out loud to you and explaining what the rules actually say, which that was a big part of my last video is, well, tell me what a respawn anchor is and I can tell you if a house is a respawn anchor. And the admin says that a respawn anchor involves constant respawning, and given that I didn't hack the respawn timer, I had to wait 60 seconds each time. And if I had to wait 60 seconds in between each time, then that's clearly not once every second. So alternatively, as I assume he intended, we can extrapolate the point further and assume that by constantly he means less continuous amount of time, beyond 60 seconds. Then the logical conclusion is that since 60 seconds is not enough, and the timer is set for that amount, they intentionally set the amount lower, and if they intentionally set the amount lower, then all that remains is that they want to ban players for easily preventable offenses. The admin then explains that they intentionally choose not to tell you what you can be banned for, because if they did, then you wouldn't do it. That's kind of the entire point of the rules, is to tell us how we are and are not allowed to play the game. Simply put, Northwind would rather keep banning innocent people. As sometime in the last 5 months, they have changed their rules significantly. However, now it still has a new problem that's just as worse. And come on, I just don't want to hear any more developers, owners, or admins complaining about their dying game. Well, this is how they run that same dying game. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a big surprise. It's kind of obvious. Also, if you like the video, make sure to subscribe for more so that I can keep making them. Also, I've been informed by the same admin that it is possible to find who is a moderator if you have the Discord and individually search for their name through the entire database of Northwind server members. Alternatively, there is a Northwind group that only consists of staff members, which you can also check that. He also informed us that, unlike how we'd been informed by the previous moderator, the rules are not being rewritten. But again, this conversation was recorded 5 months ago, so it's possible some mind changes were made to account for Northwind's rules being different now than they were. I'm just trying to think of a possible way where the rules could have been written the way they used to be written without the person writing them having bad intentions. or just being incredibly short-sighted. And I just can't think of any. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I don't want to think that they're, like trying to ban people all the time, but like the evidence just points that way. So again, well, I do hate the admin abuse, or maybe rule writer abuse, however you choose to define it. I don't hate any of the Northwind admins or rule writers themselves. So make sure after watching this video you go compliment a Northwind team member's haircut or something. And with that, the conversation saga was wrapped up, and there's only one thing left to do.